welcome to GCLS What's Cooking. I'm Carolyn. I'm from the Logan branch, and today I'm going to teach you how to make eggplant parmesan. It's one of my specialties. So first we're going to start with the marinara for the eggplant. So I have my pot, and we're just going to use some olive oil. We're just going to put some olive oil at the bottom, and I have a nice large onion I cut up already, so we'll put that in there. And then I have about a half a clove of garlic that's already minced, and I'm going to put that in there. And we're going to go ahead and put that on the stove, pretty high, just to get that sauteed a little bit. And let's go ahead and put our oven on bake. 350, because with my eggplant parmesan, instead of frying all that eggplant, I like to bake it, and it's a lot cleaner, easier. You can get a lot more accomplished with less hassle. So I have about 6, I'm planning on doing quite a bit of eggplant today. So I have 6 cans of marinara, or tomato, and I like to just use crushed tomato with a little basil. And my marinara, I always put parsley in it, basil in it, salt and pepper. Of course, if you have fresh herbs, that would be great. We can go ahead and start prepping our eggplant. So for our eggplant, we'll use a dipping. We'll be dipping the eggplant into eggs. We'll start with 4. We'll push that off to the side. And we'll put a little salt and pepper in there. And let's go ahead and just use a fork to whisk that up. So we make a mix of breadcrumbs. So we'll just pour a nice batch, and we will need cheese to match it. So probably just mix it with our fingers. We make sure we always wash our hands before we get started on any cooking project. So we're just mixing about half and half cheese. Well, what we could do is, why don't we go ahead and put a little olive oil on our pans to get them ready to go. So we're just going to rub that olive oil all over. And like I said, we'll be baking the eggplant on these pans. We'll just move our out of the way. And onion and garlic looks like it's sauteed enough. It's a little bit translucent. We're going to go ahead and add our tomato to this. And I kind of wanted to show you a little trick. So when you open your cans, just make sure your tomatoes all good. I had one can that was bent, and my mom had told me that with bent cans, sometimes the tomato can be spoiled. So it's always a good idea just to make sure your tomato is good before you dump it in. So I did check mine. It all looks fine. So this is the trick I wanted to show you. When you have tomato, you can just grab a little fresh water and dump it, so that way we get all the tomato out of our cans. So you see, this is actually almost making a whole nother can of tomato. And it's nice and thick at this point. So see, pretty good. So we'll go ahead and add our salsa, our seasoning to our marinara, which will be some parsley. And I do have my stove on. That's probably not the greatest idea. Some salt. This isn't much basil, but we'll add what we have here. Add a little bit more. And some pepper. Okay. So we'll just stir that up. I'm going to probably put that on 6 back here. Okay, so I wanted to teach you how to cut the eggplant for eggplant parm. So I have nice, fresh, firm eggplant. Even if the eggplant is a little soft, that's fine to use as well. So we have our egg batter there. We have our oven on bake 350. We're just going to cut the ends of the eggplant off first. That beep just tells us our oven is on and set. So I'm just going to go ahead and strip the skin of the eggplant. Now you probably only want to work with one eggplant at a time, because the thing about eggplant, it does brown pretty quickly. So I will just cut one eggplant at a time. Here is our breadcrumbs with our salt and pepper. Move our knife out of the way. So we're just going to take our eggplant. And again, remember you have those clean hands. We're going to dip it in the cheese and breadcrumb mixture. Just go ahead and put some in here. Dip it in. And this, we're going to put it on a plate for right now. And then once we do the eggplant, we'll pop it on the tray. And I'll show you how we'll finish that. So now we're just going to check our marinara, make sure it's looking good. Yep, starting to smell delicious already. So here's our cookie sheet, and we went ahead and we put a little olive oil on it. And we're just going to put our eggplant right on there, and it can get as close as you'd like, as long as you can flip them. So we take our olive oil, and it can be any olive oil. And I usually just fill my cap and drizzle a little right on top, so you don't overdo it. So that is ready to go in the oven. And I have my wraps in the middle, and the second and the fourth. So I'm going to pop that one in the bottom, and now we'll go ahead and put this one on. And we're just going to drizzle this. And we're going to put that in the oven, and we'll be back in about halfway through, maybe in 10 minutes. We'll flip them, and we'll make sure they're nice and brown. Hi, and we're back. We are making eggplant parmesan today. We already made our marinara, and I showed you how to bread and bake your eggplant. And now we're going to put our parmesan together. So first, let's start with our marinara at the bottom of our glass Pyrex pan, our Pyrex dish. I believe this is 8.5 by 11, but you could use any dish that bakes in the oven. So we're going to start with a little marinara. Okay, and then we're just going to go ahead and layer our eggplant. So we have our first layer. We're going to put a little sauce on that. I'm just using a little fresh pecorino romano, and this is fresh grated mozzarella, and we're just going to layer that. Again, the next layer being the eggplant. We can fill that all the way up. Our next layer of sauce. And I did 6 cans of tomato. Always wash your hands before you start cooking, every time. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and bake that in the oven at 350. And when I pull it out, it'll be ready to serve. We bake it for about 30 minutes until it's heated through and all the cheese is melted. So if you like this recipe and enjoyed it, please like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you wanted to leave a comment about today's eggplant parmesan, we'd appreciate it. I'll take a picture when it comes out of the oven, and you'll see what the finished product is. Thank you. Bon appetit.